Hello, hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
So we have a very special video today. We're going to talk about our origin story.
That's right.
How did Lauren meet Christopher Belly, aka Strongman Personal Finance? How did it happen? Was it love at first sight?
Absolutely.
No. So tell the fans what you were doing when you first saw me. What was your job? What was your employment?
Oh, okay. When I first saw it, so I was an admin for a government agency in our
NASA.
area
They,
for
they all,
NASA.
they all know
Fine.
they all know I worked at NASA.
Okay, fine. I was an contract admin for NASA. And my job was to put together travel packages for the people I worked for the people in my branch.
Big packages.
Big packages. And there was a lot of financial aspects to these packages that had to be, travel expenses that had to be approved. And Chris's job and his department was to approve all the financial aspects of these packages. Well, when I first started my job, it's it can get complicated. Travelers, want certain things, and they want certain flights and train rides and stuff like that, and certain car rentals. So there were a lot of changes, and Chris and I were constantly back and forth in communication. And I was always on the phone with him, and he was always helping me correct stuff. So I just want to, really quick here, I just want to say that every time I talk to Chris on the phone, he always sounded royally pissed off. Just super grumpy, just super pissed, highly inconvenienced. And
I only did that for you.
Sure.
Everybody else I was friendly with.
So, from my side of the story, I was friends with a few of the other admins, and they were like, I wonder what he looks like, because we kind of had the idea that he was, our age, like, 30s, late 20s. So we stalked him on Facebook, looked him up on Facebook. And my other admin girlfriend was like, "Oh, like he's pretty cute, but he's."
Which one?
Now, before we drive on in today's video, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Aura. Identity theft is a prevalent and real threat that can lead to a massive headache and unnecessary stress in your life that, frankly, you don't need. That's where Aura comes in. Aura is a tech company that specializes in personal identity protection and digital security products that enable customers to manage their information in a safe and effective way. Aura will monitor the dark web for you as well as all 3 credit bureaus to make sure that your identity is safe. The app and website are also very user-friendly, which is a huge plus, at least in my book. Aura will help you identify how many data brokers have access to your personal data and will guide you on the steps you need to take to protect your identity. Aura will also send these data brokers opt-out requests on your behalf. They'll even opt you out of junk mail and telemarketing lists, which is awesome. Aura has a 60-day money-back guarantee if you sign up and you aren't satisfied. However, I highly doubt you'll have to do that because of the peace of mind this product will bring to you. Now, before we move on to the rest of the video, don't forget to click my link below, aura.com/SMPF, to get access to your free 14-day trial.
Allie Stewart.
Oh.
So, shout out to Allie if you ever see this.
Doubtful.
But hi if you ever do. But so we saw him on Facebook and we're like, oh, he's pretty cute, but he's a government worker in his late 20s at NASA. He's probably married with like 3 kids. No idea what's going on there. And
So wait, you saw my Facebook. And
Yeah.
you didn't see any kids or a wife.
but you could have been very private.
And you thought I was
he could have
married.
been really like a really private person. You don't know, but that was his only social media. So it's like, some people don't post stuff like that, especially guys. Guys don't post anything on social media.
I had a YouTube channel back then.
Okay, well, we
You
didn't
know the
find you
video
on
of
YouTube.
so everybody go back to my first video. There's a picture of a video of a dog coming in the back door. That was my first YouTube video, and it was put up in like 2017.
Oh, okay. Well, we didn't find you on YouTube.
So I had a YouTube channel.
Okay, great. Well,
There.
all right. Anyway, So one day I had an emergency traveler and I had to get things done very quickly. So I had to stay at work late, and Chris stayed at his department late in order to help me. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here. Maybe he's not married. Maybe he doesn't have kids. So so I sent him an email, or like, so he sent me an email first saying, you know, something to the effect of like, oh, I stayed late for you to, or you better be grateful that I stayed like late to help you out on this because I'm late in driving to my parents' house or something like that.
Wasn't there a hurricane coming too?
No, not that weekend. I didn't think it was that weekend. There might have been. I actually think I know what you're talking about. Anyway, Okay, let's finish telling them the story. So I emailed him back and I was like, oh yes, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Maybe I can take you out to Plaza for a margarita sometime. And that was like,
Plaza's a Mexican restaurant.
Plaza is a very popular Mexican restaurant in our area, super Americanized, but
it's cheap and plentiful.
People
so Lauren hates it.
Love Plaza Azteca.
She likes restaurants that have almost no portions and they cost 10 times as much. That's Lauren's type of restaurant right there.
Escargot baby all the way. All right, so okay. So and I included my phone number in this email. I never heard from him. Never heard from him. It was like 2-3 weeks, and I realized, when like 2 weeks later, I was like, okay, he's not interested. That's no problem. I don't know his situation. He might have a girlfriend. He might be married. I don't know. He might just not be interested, and that's okay. So I wrote him off and I moved on. 3 weeks later, like a ridiculous amount of time later, an embarrassing amount of time later, he finally texted me and you said something like, well, I forgot what you said, but he
said, do you know who this is?
Or do you know who this is? And I was like, no. I mean, I was single. I was on the market. I was like going on dates, so I didn't know who it was. But no, I'm just kidding. So anyway. So he told me to meet him at this brewery for our first date. And I was like, or you could be a gentleman and pick me up. And he was like, no, I'm so sorry. Like my car, like I've actually, so I work out a lot and my car smells really bad.
So I'm not joking. I would go on runs. I mean, I still go on runs, just not as much. I would go on runs and I'd be drenched in sweat, like covered because I sweat like crazy. Yeah. And I would sit in the sweat and just soak into my...
So I thought he was just making an excuse not to pick me up. And I was like, you know what? I'll go on the date with him. We'll see how it goes. But he was 100% right. His car was nasty. Like, we had to get that thing detailed before I would ride in it. So we met him. So I met him at a bar, or not a bar, but a brewery that was close to us both. And when we actually hung out, he was much... It's like softer in person. Like he wasn't as, or he was dorky.
She's calling me weak.
He was dorky. And he was so sweet. He was so sweet. He wasn't as gruff in person. And so that was so nice.
She realized I was an easy object to exploit.
Oh my God. Anyway.
A mark.
So he had like 8 beers and I just had 1.
8? I had 3, woman.
Okay. Well, I nursed my drinks. So
8 beers.
So anyway, so we were having a great time talking, and I don't think Chris has ever mentioned it, but so both of us are actually divorced. This is the second marriage for both of us, and my divorce had been finalized maybe within the same week that we went on our first date. And first thing when we sat down, Chris said, okay, just so you know, I'm divorced, and my divorce was finalized, like 2 weeks ago. And I looked at him and I was like, that is convenient. Thank you for telling me, because coincidentally, mine was divorced like 5 days ago, or mine was final. My divorce was finalized like 5 days ago. So that was a really cool opening.
That's how you bond.
That's how you bond.
Shared trauma.
Shared trauma and failed first marriages.
Losing half your money.
That's right. I didn't like have kids or like shared property. Anyway, So also fun fact, when you're dating, just get the important stuff out on the first date, like religion, kids, finances, all of that. So just get it over with on the first date,
Yeah,
okay?
she heard about my bank account. She's like,
Yeah,
my man.
that's right.
So that's our origin story. So from my perspective, there was this person that kept screwing up all these travel authorizations. Because my first job at NASA, it wasn't even accounting. It was approving travel. Yeah, that's a government job for you. Really using my accounting skills to their greatest potential. And somebody kept screwing up, and I looked her up, and then I realized I was like, wow, she's kind of hot. So I was like, oh yeah, I'll help you out, yeah. And then one thing led to another, and now I'm stuck every day with this woman.
That's a boring story
With
from
my-
your end.
Huh?
And then one thing led to another.
Well, you just told. You want me to retell the whole story?
Okay, well, all right, he's right. I did tell the whole story. So,
Yeah, she literally just talked the whole video, and I just sat there.
by the way, really smooth move from his part. When we were on our second date, we did go to Plaza Azteca. Instead of sitting in the booth across from me, which it does make it easier to talk, but he like sat beside me, and now that's always kind of been our thing, is he sits beside me.
I used to be really good.
Hey.
I used to have really good dating skills. Now they're just atrophied. They're gone.
Yeah.
But I
pretty
was
much.
good back in the day. I had lots of practice.
Yeah.
I'm a very appealing man to women. But all right, well that's it.